Speech, Mayor Ellis.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. My journey here comes via almost 10 years in local government as an officer, working on economic development and regeneration. I grew up among passionate socialists, but I also saw the investment that small businesses all around me put into their local areas. So I'm delighted to be making my maiden speech as the first Labour MP for Ribble Valley in this debate on a budget that truly harnesses the best of both social policy and great British enterprise. Yeah. We need both, and we need them to work together. For a young woman full of dreams and wanting to change the world, sometimes our day-to-day can feel a pretty restricted place to be. Anyone who's felt held back in their ambition will know that it can take just one or two people to believe in you, to make all the difference to whether you carry on or give up. I can't possibly name all the people who helped me get here, but you know who you are, and it made all the difference that you never questioned for a second that I could do this. It's so easy to quickly take for granted that we're speaking in a debate on a budget presented by the first ever woman Chancellor of the Exchequer. Yeah. She will know, as well as I do, that as fairy tales our journeys may seem at their high points right now, the prejudices and obstacles that we faced and women face every day are still far too high. I've said it to many women, and I will say it to any listening now. You are as smart and as capable as you think you are. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. We need your fire. Yeah. I've been in Westminster a few months now, and one thing I hear people say frequently about my predecessor, the Right Honourable Nigel Evans, was how much he loves and cares for this place that we stand in today. Yeah. Mr Evans worked incredibly hard and diligently as Deputy Speaker and on the Restoration and Renewal Programme Board. We are very lucky to have this well-managed centre of debate and challenge in the UK, and I'm grateful to Mr Evans and to all those working here for upholding our exceptional standards of democracy. I promised Mr Evans on the night of the election that I would take care of the Ribble Valley constituency that I know we both love. I can already safely say that I will likewise show this incredible institution of Westminster and our strong democracy the respect and protection I know we both value so highly. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm one of those exceptionally lucky MPs who has lived in my constituency most of my life. It means I know it like the back of my hand. For better or worse, it also means I encounter situations like the other day when one of my old Brownie leaders called me over while doing the school run to raise an issue about local social housing. I'm on it, Jam, I promise. My constituency of Ribble Valley is a patchwork of our country's history and its future. In Bamber Bridge, we remember the Battle of Bamber Bridge, where locals stood up against white GIs to welcome back black US soldiers into their pubs, a brilliant example of the inclusion and multiculturalism that makes this country great. Yeah. In Samlesbury, we've produced planes to protect the country since World War II, and I'm delighted that progress to establish the National Cyber Force in my constituency is well underway, which will lead our country's research and development of future security and build our skills in cyber. People are often surprised at the size of Ribble Valley constituency. Its boundaries have changed over the years, but it currently reaches from the Lancashire-Yorkshire border with picture-perfect villages like Tosside, Rimington, Waddington, West Bradford and Chipping, through to the lively suburbs of Preston, taking in Fulwood, Bamber Bridge and Walton Le Dale, almost reaching the Ribble estuary to the Irish Sea. I see the breadth of this area as its depth. We have wonderful places to live, though much could be done to keep them safer and kinder. We have great transport links with the M6 running through and only 2 hours to London on the train from Preston. And we have utterly stunning countryside, including a large part of the Trough of Bowland, where the late Queen says she would have loved to retire. Strong communities are so important to me, Madam Deputy Speaker, and both the rural and urban areas of my constituency are made up of villages, which come together to create celebrations like the Lostock Hall Carnival and the Broughton Scarecrow Festival just last week. Right in the heart of my constituency is my home village of Ribchester, where my family has lived since 1961, and I'm now raising my family. And I have to pay a quick tribute to the people of that village. From the Amateur Dramatic Society and the church, from the Brownie unit to the parish council, that village showed me the best of what it means to be British. And I look forward to this government easing the burden on families so they can spend more time contributing to these amazing communities that we all need to thrive. Madam Deputy Speaker, the only person I know who loved Ribble Valley more than I do was my dad. He travelled the world, living in big cities, in communes, dreaming of new ways we could live our lives. But I found a letter recently that he wrote to himself at age 21, where he tells of the strange pullback to our beautiful little corner of the world, where he chose to raise his family and, without knowing it, raised the Labour MP he dreamed of it having. It is my deepest sadness that my dad didn't live to see me standing in this place. But I know he relished every heated debate we had at the dinner table, and, along with my mum, one of the most intelligent women I know, I think my dad had an eye to what he was preparing me for. He was the biggest feminist I've ever known, and in me, I think he raised the second biggest. A lot of my career has included working on innovation policy, which has collided over time with my passion for social justice. I think we all need a vision to look towards, and I want us to be ambitious that our rapid advances in technology and automation should translate into greater rewards for workers. I'd like to think that it's not too utopian to hope to see us move to a standard 4-day week in my lifetime, maybe. So much of what we need in our society doesn't necessarily cost money, but it does cost time. Time to give our children focused play. Time to truly rest our bodies so that they don't crumble far too early. Time to live slowly and grow our own food so we don't keep up the huge demands on this earth. Technology can give us time if that's where we choose to channel the benefits. Before I finish, I'd like to touch on the subject that is my utmost priority for my time as an MP, and that's working families. We need to make life much more tenable, affordable, and dare I say it, more joyful for parents who want to contribute to our country and also want to raise good humans. It's also critical to me that we make sure that the children in those families get the lives, support and love they deserve too. We have a vision for an innovative and high-growth economy. We don't get innovation without diversity of thought. This Parliament is the most diverse in history, and I, as one of these new diverse members, am only able to be here with my mental health just about intact because my husband took 3 months of paternity leave with both our children. This meant that when an election was called 2 days after I was selected as the Labour candidate, I didn't have to spend a second handing childcare over to him. He already knew how to change a nappy, what to pack in a bag, and the books my children want to read at bedtime. I fully believe I would not be stood here now if he hadn't taken paternity leave. That opportunity shouldn't be rare. And forgive me, I'll speak in a heteronormative context as that is my personal experience here, but we know that still so few dads take up paternity or parental leave, and that means many women couldn't dream of putting themselves forward for political office like I did. Knowing my husband can confidently care for my children gives me time to think, to organise, to dream. There are still too many women who are not enabled to do that because their mental load fills every bit of additional brain space they have. We need the ideas and dreams of mothers and parents to propel our businesses, our public services, our society. I was delighted to join campaigning organisations Pregnant Then Screwed and the Dad Shift earlier this month to try and shift the dial on parenting equality. And I hope to see some truly ambitious step changes as our government reviews paternity leave over this coming year. Not only to create a new vision of fatherhood in this country, but also to unlock the dreams and plans of mothers, which we have been so desperately lacking, but are so desperately important. And I send a huge thank you to my incredible husband for holding the fort at home and being the foundation of me standing here today. Finally, I want to acknowledge that it takes a lot of bravery to be a girl and to be a young woman today. It always has. It's relentless and scary and exhausting, especially if you have caring responsibilities or face additional prejudices too. There are a million reasons to give up. There are a million times I almost gave up. But please don't give up, because I can promise you this. Brave girls grow up, and one day you might stand here and be the one in charge. Thank you.
Very inspirational. Sir Bernard Jenkins.
Deputy Speaker, and I do congratulate the Honourable Lady for Ribble Valley on her spirited maiden speech. And I think her speech and the other maiden speeches all underline how new members come here with goodwill in their hearts, full of good intentions and full of ideals. And it is heartening to see that on the Labour benches today and amongst my new colleagues on this side of the House and in the other opposition parties.
The Honourable Lady for Ribble Valley painted a wonderful picture of her constituency. Her dad clearly made a very good decision in raising his family there, and if I may say, he would be extremely proud of what she has achieved but I feel like she's only just getting started.
The Honourable Member for Ribble Valley, her maiden speech, I think, touched all of us as she spoke about her late father, who I'm sure would be incredibly proud of what she has achieved. And I thank her very much for sharing that close personal story with us today.